Well, good morning. We're only a few days away from Christmas, so happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Today we're going to be servicing the planer because I planed some boards earlier this week and I noticed it was pushing a little hard and the finish isn't quite perfect. And so we're going to go ahead and put sharp blades in that, and I'll show you what we got going on here. So this is my JET 15-inch helical head planer, and I'll get this opened up and I'll show you what I mean by helical head, in case you don't know. The first step is to get this cover off. Raise this up so you guys can see just a little bit better and I don't have to bend over as much. And as you can see, I need to vacuum this out. See, we got quite a bit of sawdust built up, so I'm going to go ahead and vacuum that real quick. So what I mean by helical head is, instead of having 3 or 4 straight knives that run the entire length there, it's got these carbide teeth set up in a helix. It's helical. And these are pretty nice because you could rotate these 3 extra times, and I can just feel that edge. It is not very sharp, so it's definitely time to change. These other edges are way sharper. They're almost like razor blades. The advantage of a helical head is when you got grain pattern like this, that's kind of the back side of a knot. Actually, this side's probably a better side to show you. This grain pattern, this grain is kind of going all different ways inside of this piece here. And a straight knife will tend to tear that out, whereas a helical, it's cutting at an angle on every tooth a little bit, so it shears that off much nicer. And I don't know if you could hear that, but that's my fingernails grabbing on the grain, and it really shouldn't be like that. It should be much smoother than that. So, and I can feel that it's actually tearing out a little bit because that blade is dull. So it's just time to change these. And also, around these knots here, that's really hard on, number one, it's hard on blades because it's actually in grain, but also with a straight knife it will just rip those out. And my first planer was a little DeWalt 12-inch model, and it really did not like that stuff. And I actually went through, I think, 3 of the 12-inch models before I upgraded to this JET. And I've been running this JET for, let's see here, a little over 5 years, almost 6 years now. So I've been really happy with it. This is only my second set of teeth. And I've been running this set here for almost right at a year. I think I put them in January, it's now December. And we've probably played maybe 3,000-ish board feet of lumber through this, mainly oak and walnut. Pretty much all white oak. I've done some red oak, but without further ado, let's get these teeth changed here. Little trick here is to mark whichever one you start on, so when you get back to it, you know to stop. So I just use my little grease pencil and I mark that one a little bit. I don't know exactly which one I started on, so I know where to stop. So we'll just keep working, and there's like 40 of these things in here, so. So I've got that loose, I can take it out, and I'm just going to rotate that counterclockwise. I'm going to do that for the same for every one of these. And they don't have to be super duper tight. If you tighten them too much, they'll break. So counterclockwise. Okay, so that was the last one, and then we're back to the one that I marked. So that's the first one we did, so now they're all changed. Oh, nice and sharp again. So just a little bit more maintenance to do on this sucker, and we'll be able to be ready to rock again. I'm going to finish vacuuming out all this stuff here. I got some dust built up in this shield here, so I'm going to get my detail tool, we'll get that sucked out. I'm going to pull these out just to make sure there's nothing stuck back in there, and then we'll give everything a good cleaning and lube everything up, and then we'll be good to rock. Because tomorrow my wife's going to be off work, and I've got the wood coming back from the kiln. Actually, it is back from the kiln. It's in my trailer right now, under cover, because we've had some winter weather around here, and we're going to try and get all that cleaned tomorrow. So I did a little bit this week, like I said. I don't have a socket there that'll fit. Just a second. So, like I was saying, we're going to get all that wood that I just had dried cleaned tomorrow, I hope. So, and I noticed this thing was not cutting properly, so I wanted to make sure that I got everything cut out or sharpened. If I find the right socket here, we'll pull this shield off. See, we got a little bit of dust built up. This is just a plastic deflector. I like to keep all this as clean and maintained as I can. Okay, so we're all cleaned up. This could go back on. Screws back in. Get our cover put back on here. That'll be the bulk of the hard work done on this. These don't take a lot of maintenance. The only thing I've had to do with this is I had to replace the start button, but they did that under warranty because it went bad within the first, I don't know, 6 months or so. See, we've got some sawdust in here. I normally sweep all that out when I'm done, but I knew I was going to do this today, so I saved it just for you. So, just a second, we'll get that vacuumed out. Okay, so we've got it all cleaned up. And then I like to use this tool lube stuff. So you can see that. It's specifically for woodworking, so it doesn't leave any residue or stain your wood at all. Just a little bit in there. And I like to get all this basically you're waxing it so that your wood slides through way better. It really does help. And you got to do this at least once a day when you're planing. I'll probably have to do it since I'm going to be planing pretty much all day tomorrow. It'll probably be at least 3 times anyways. Doesn't take very much, and I just wipe it on with a paper towel and kind of a wax on, wax off type thing. This helps the board slide through really easy. If you ever ran a planer, you know sometimes you gotta help it through. You shouldn't have to, but you do. It's just that friction because the planer is pushing down on that wood with its rollers. And so anything you can do to lessen that friction, the better. And then I just take my towel and I basically just dust everything. It helps the dust from sticking too. And I like my equipment to look nice. Clean shop's a happy shop, so you spend a bunch of money on this equipment, so you better take care of it. The next thing I like to do is I use this same lube on these guides. This is what guides the head up and down and keeps everything square. So there's bearings in there, and I just like to put a little bit on there. I do each one. And I'll run the head down. And then I'll run it down and up, and then wipe that down. Okay, so we've got all that lubed up, and I'll just take and I'll wipe this with the towel and clean it up nice. Do that for each one. I'll wipe these upper parts again. These ball screws are in here, and they need to be lubed up as well. So I'll just spray a little bit more lube in there, run it up and down a couple times. I like to use oil because it can migrate to your wood. You can get away with it, but I got this stuff, so I might as well use it. Okay, so all cleaned up, lubed up. We're gonna give it a quick dusting all over, and I'll bring it back when I got that done, and I will run the board through and we'll see how she works. Now, lots of guys like to use the digital calipers for checking the thickness of their wood. I don't really care about measuring it down to the thousandths of an inch. And batteries need replacing, and they get out of calibration and stuff. What I use is this old school style caliper. It's got, hopefully you can see, it's got graduation set here, so I know right when I'm at any specific, like 3/4 inch. It's right there. And then it's also got a scale on there, so you can see that. And I know when it lines up on any given hole, that's exactly where I want to be. And actually, I usually build just a little bit bigger. But this also allows you to reach in further into the board, so you're not measuring right at the edge, which is pretty nice. And it never fails. It always works. It's always calibrated, as long as you take care of it. This doesn't even have a brand name on it. I think I got it from Rockler or something. But so that's what I measured my board. Should be right where I want it to be. It's right where I built it or did it yesterday. And let's run it through. I'll just take a light pass off this one because this is pretty much right at thickness. and we'll see if I did everything right. I did have it unplugged from power while I was doing the blade changes, because you really don't want that sucker kicking on when you got your fingers in there. I can already tell that this is much smoother, just taken off just a little bit. It's almost like glass. Let me turn the dust collector off. Now, hopefully you can hear this. But my fingernails aren't grabbing on that at all. So that's way smoother. Much, much smoother. This side here I have not done yet, and it's rough still, and it should not be. That's a good way to tell if you need to maintain your planer. Obviously, if you were to hit a nail or something, you'll get a chipped tooth. You'll see that as a defect, and when you plane it, you need to switch that tooth out. So I hope that helps somebody out there. If you're looking to buy one of these JET planers or a similar helical head planer, go for it. It's well worth the extra money. Some guys buy the bench top planers and put a helical head in, and by the time you get all that done, you can have a nice stationary planer. You'll be much happier. They're a lot quieter. I don't have that old planer anymore. I actually burnt the last one up, sent it in for repair. They sent me a new one because I was in warranty period, and I wound up just selling the new one because I had already bought this one. This is probably one of the best tools in the shop that I bought next to the CNC, because I take all my lumber from tree to finished product, so that means planing all my own lumber. I don't buy hardly any planed lumber. I will occasionally get a board or two from my sawyer, that my brother-in-law that has a sawmill when I'm running short and don't have anything to mill for myself, or I'm in between loads. I try not to let that happen. But even then, I still have to plane it to my thickness. He typically doesn't have exactly my thickness. It's usually a little thicker or sometimes too thin. But yeah, so this is the JET 15-inch helical head. Light years above any benchtop planer. And like I said, I've been using this for 5 years. This is just my second set of teeth. And first rotation on this set. So hope this helps somebody out. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.